The beef between T.I. and 50 Cent has now escalated to new heights. It was a friendly fade. We should have kept it that way. And now, instead of a versus that we could have gotten between both of these great artists, now apparently they are going to beef with each other to the point where now their families are involved. Things back and forth are being said that are completely unnecessary. But in this situation right here with 50 Cent, you know 50 Cent is petty and he is going to say everything and anything to get on people's nerves. However, T.I. and his family have responded. Not only has T.I. gotten involved, but his son King has gotten involved also. And I'm going to say right now, I think King is very valid for protecting his mom because, yes, 50 Cent does go after his mother. But let's just take it back from the very beginning and how this all started, because originally this was just supposed to be good, clean fun. It was just supposed to be a versus between these two artists. T.I. originally had a conversation with 50 Cent and spoke to Kevin Hart on the phone about this scenario right here, wanting to do a versus with 50 Cent, him being the king of the South, 50 Cent calling himself the king of New York. He thought it would be a good idea if they both just stepped in the ring and did a versus with each other. Now, there's nothing wrong with the versus. Many of our favorite artists from back in the day, they have done a versus. Some of them are already friends. Some of them were adversaries. Some of them had like a beef that had died down. You know, it wasn't really nothing too crazy, something that they could both agree on to do to settle their differences or to, get the people entertained. It wasn't really nothing that was supposed to be severe. It's not like T.I. and 50 Cent had a problem. This is just something that they had talked about in private, because this was a conversation that they had. Apparently, this wasn't out of the blue. This was something that they had both talked about until Kevin Hart was caught on camera talking to Kevin Hart about it, which made 50 Cent feel some type of way when he responded about that. And this is where everything just starts crashing down and everything just starts to affect like a domino effect.
You hear me? You hear me, Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
If you get a chance,
Yes, sir.
please tell 50 bring his ass on out here and get this smoke.
Oh, Jesus.
Please tell 50 Cent get his hit records and come on and sit down and see what the South got to say. Goddamn. I want him to see what the South got to say. Now listen, hey.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And if they already talked about that, there shouldn't be an issue. There shouldn't be an issue between me and you doing a versus if we're just doing it for fun, for entertainment, just to see who got the better catalog and who the people prefer. Now, even in this situation, a lot of people were saying T.I., but me personally, I was saying 50 Cent. 50 Cent got hits, bro. And this is exactly what I'm saying about good, clean fun. This was just supposed to be entertainment. It was like, yo, his catalog is better than his catalog. No way. Well, 50 Cent got a lot of hits. Well, T.I. got a lot of hits too. They both make great music for the time that I grew up. And just for them to go at it like this, it would have been really fun and entertaining. But now it's just gotten personal because 50 Cent decided to comment under this video right here, and he called him something crazy. He said King Rat. He called T.I. King Rat. And he says, you playing on my name when only one of us is a rat in real life. You know I got your paperwork right, and my transcript is available online. Your excuses are useless. Get your in the box or STFU and live in fear. You soft, son. You lost my respect. Effing duck. So this is T.I. completely distraught at what 50 Cent said, because he didn't expect him to say that, right? He didn't expect him to come back like that and call him a rat. And he's talking about the Crime Stopper video, everything that we've seen. I don't really believe like T.I. is a rat, but I do think that 50 Cent is out of line for just going with the disrespect straight up instead of answering the question. But T.I. goes on $1 million worth of game. He talks about it with them. He discusses this in further detail, talking about how he didn't like what 50 Cent said, and he lost all respect for him at that point. And that's what's crazy, right? It's in this video where he reveals that they've talked about this when they were working on shows, when they were in the same places together. He talked about them doing this with him directly. So it's actually pretty strange for 50 Cent just to act this way with disrespect when T.I. and him have already had this conversation about doing a versus a long time ago. I think there's even videos as far as 2020 where T.I. is talking about doing a versus against 50 Cent, 2020, 2021, like on 50 Cent's birthday. I'm not sure if that's why he's upset about this, because he asked for a versus during the time of his birthday. But either way it goes, he says, we've talked about this. And you coming out of here, you coming out of the blue just with disrespect is pretty left field, especially when T.I. isn't a disrespectful person. Even the clip when he's talking to Kevin Hart, calling out 50 Cent, he's doing it more so as a gentleman instead of as somebody that's being, pretty mean. I don't think he's being mean at all. I think he's just being a respectable individual and trying to just request a versus from somebody that he looks at as a peer, someone that he looked at as an equal, at least at that time. And now it's gone on the deep end because 50 Cent not only posted his Crime Stopper videos, not only did he call him King Rat, but then he started talking about his wife. He started posting pictures of his wife. It's just a mess. And I feel bad for this whole situation when he brings up the mother and he brings up his wife, because I think that is completely unnecessary. That is unnecessary. I don't really rock with that at all, bro. Like that was messed up. Like what did she have to do with anything? What does Tiny have to do with anything, right? Like she has nothing to do with the situation for you to bring her up. However, there is somebody in the family that isn't going to tolerate the disrespect, and that's going to be his son himself, because King has actually decided, T.I.'s son actually decided to respond to this, and he responded with the quickness, with the swiftness, and he said the most craziest line ever, bro. I'm not even going to hold you. Like what he said was diabolical, bro, and I'm not mad at him for that, because you bring up my mom, I'm going to bring up your mom. Like, it's all fair game now, right? We weren't talking about family. We were just talking about music. But now that you want to bring up my mom, I guess it's okay to bring up yours. The only unfortunate part is that 50 Cent's mother had passed, and King actually takes aim at 50 Cent's mother, bro. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. But you can't get mad at that, bro. Valid crash out. If I'm being completely honest, it is fair to say that he had every right to say that. He had every right. Normally, I'm not with people dissing people who aren't here or aren't with us in the above the world, above ground. You know what I mean? Anybody who's passed, anybody who said anything about somebody who's not here with us to defend themselves, I'd never really go for that. But in this case, it's a valid crash out. It's a valid crash out. You're gonna bring up my mom. You're gonna post pictures of my mom and compromising photos. Well, let me bring up your mom. And this is crazy, bro, because normally I never thought that I would side with King. I never thought that I would say, like, oh yeah, I'm on his side on this one. But today, he got me. I am on his side with this one. There's no excuse for 50 Cent to be going at T.I.'s wife, to be going at King's mom, because she never said anything. If anything, they're probably the most respected family that there is. Now, there's a lot of things that happened after this. One thing for sure was T.I. actually making a diss record. After King had responded, I guess T.I. had made a diss record. We could hear a little bit of that right now.
All closed eyes ain't sleeping, and all even scales ain't even. The bear hibernate don't poke. When you see the giant sleeping, shouldn't have woke. I don't know how many times I told him, but please hop off my scrotum.
And then it goes in, bro. I don't know how many times I told him, but please hop off my scrotum. I mess with that. He didn't say 50 Cent's name in the diss, but we know that he made a record called War, and it's in regards to 50 Cent. At this point, we don't need to hear him say his name to know exactly who he's talking about. And, you got T.I. here looking like Bane. You were made in the darkness. I was born in it. You know what I mean? Whatever he says. But he looks like Bane here. I'm not even going to lie to you. And now, instead of a versus, now we have a rap beef. Now we have T.I. getting in the studio, making a diss record. Will 50 Cent make a diss record? Probably not. I think 50 Cent is past making music. I don't think that 50 Cent would respond. It would be nice, though. This is better than the versus at this point, right? But I would have preferred the versus more, right? I don't want two of these artists that I grew up listening to going at war with each other, but that's what it is. That's what T.I. called it. And we're already past the point of no return. I don't think that T.I. is going to mess with 50 Cent. I don't think 50 Cent is going to mess with T.I. I actually feel bad for T.I.'s wife. Feel bad. King has every right to say what he said. And T.I., for the most part, bro, I think that he didn't say anything disrespectful to get 50 Cent to say the things that he said. I mean, that's crazy for him to say all that stuff, bro. And I'm on T.I.'s side now. In the versus, if it was a 50 Cent and T.I. versus, I would have had 50 Cent, right, winning that versus battle. But in the battle of humanity versus T.I. and 50 Cent, I'm on T.I.'s side. I'm just going to say that. I mean, honestly, like, T.I. has actually had a better family dynamic than 50 Cent. At least he could say, I've been with the girl that I've been with my whole life, got my kids. As far as 50 Cent, he can't even spend time with his son. He has a beef with his own son. His wife was with Diddy. He started beefing with Diddy, made a whole documentary about Diddy and his wife being in the freak offs allegedly. So I'd rather have, T.I.'s family than 50 Cent's family, rather have T.I.'s piece than 50 Cent's piece. You know what I mean? That was crazy, man, all around. This is a crazy situation that played out within a week. And we're probably going to see it develop even more, because he said that on Sunday. I can only imagine by the end of the weekend now what King's going to say, what T.I.'s going to say, what 50 Cent's going to come back with. We'll let you know on here, man. We'll see what goes on. But y'all tell me how you feel about the diss track. Y'all tell me how you feel about 50 Cent, T.I., King, everything, bro. The verses, everything, bro. Who you think would have won if this took place, and who you think is winning now? Y'all tell me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace. Keep it a legend.